Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Connect Groups. So let me dive right into doing a quick review of this past Sunday. That way you'll have plenty of time to discuss this as a group. So what we looked at this last week is the next thing that all of us are called to do, and that is to connect. And the reason that connection is so important is when we choose to connect in covenant relationship, it is what allows us to have a healthy community. And so we looked at what healthy community looks like. One of the things I'm sure that surprised a lot of people is when you study biblical community, it's different than what we might imagine. See, I think oftentimes we're tempted to think that true biblical or Christian community is one that's always outwardly focused. But what we see modeled in both the Old and New Testament is God has called the community to be inwardly focused, focusing on the health of maintaining what is spiritual and then loving to each other. What's powerful about it is they are also inclusive. So they focus inwardly on the community that God has called them to be a part of, but also inviting of new members who want to join. So even the nation of Israel in the Old Testament had laws and practices that they went through to allow others to join into that community. We see the same thing in the New Testament. They were hyper-focused on themselves, on their own culture, but again, inviting so other people could join in. And why is this so critical? It is because the biblical community or the Christian community is what allows for the outward community to be healthy. So if there's not a healthy inward spiritual community, then the culture around it has no chance to be healthy and spiritual. And so we looked at some of the dynamics of what a healthy community can bring to a community. So it is a place for you to receive prayer. It's a place for you to pray for others. It's a place to actually witness a physical example of Jesus. And so many more things. It's a place you learn to worship. It's a place you learn to give. It's a place you learn to serve. It's a place where you're taught and you're corrected and you're challenged and you're held accountable, but you're also supported and people can serve you. I mean, it really is a dynamic thing. But all of that is dependent upon each one of us doing one thing, and that is choosing to connect in covenant relationship, where it's not something we pick and choose, where we're going to be connected for a season and then we're disconnected, and then we're connected and then we're disconnected. It is only when we make a pledge and a commitment in our heart that we are connected to the body of Christ, it is only then that we truly become a healthy biblical community. Because what we're called to do requires us to be in relationship. Because once we enter into that relationship, it gives us two things. First, it gives us knowledge of. So it gives us knowledge of what is going on in someone's life, which is critical so that we can also then have permission to help them, to challenge them, to support them. But if you don't have relationship, then you'll never have knowledge of and you'll never have permission to. And many people violate this principle. Many people disconnect, and so they never know what's going on in anyone else's life, so they can never help them. And they think ignorance is bliss, but it's not. Ignorance means a very unhealthy body. But then also as Christians, if we're honest, at times we try to speak into situations where we have no right to because we don't have relationship. So once we're purposed to connect in relationship, it is then that we truly become a healthy body of Christ to lift each other up and encourage each other and model and train each other so that we can be a shining light to the community around us. And so here's my challenge to you. As you discuss this, what do you need to do to connect more to the people around you? And this might be a changing of schedule, of the priorities of your life, but what do you need to do to connect more to the people around you, and what do you need to do to allow them to connect to you? Guys, I love you. I'm so proud of you, and I know in many ways I'm preaching to the choir because these are our Connect groups, but I want you to go even deeper. I can't wait to see you guys all this Sunday.